Let's do it. Hala, the floor is yours, girl.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. And thank you, Wendy, for the introduction. And yes, I'm going to wing the wedding. We're not going to wing gamification, but we're going to wing the wedding. It'll be fine. I'm going to like reduce the stress eating. We're going to be okay. But I'm super excited to be here and talk to you about, the launch of badges. And as Wendy said, we wanted to start talking about it with you early on, so you have time to really, think about what's coming and how you can kind of leverage it with your team. But this is something we kind of put on our coach roadmap. We put it, under the BOD Groups project as well. So I know it's been kind of talked about it more in the abstract. So we're finally able to share a little bit more meat to it. Share what our badges look like, share what our plan really is, because this is going to be phase one. Where we start getting, about 4 types of different badges. We do have plans for the future to really evolve this, but we wanted to take it step by step and work with you and, make sure we get that first foundational step right before we start moving on. So I'm going to share my screen so we can go through some of the badges basics, if you will. All right, let's start the slideshow. You're able to see my screen, yeah? Perfect. So super excited to start having some visuals to this. So I'll show you a little bit more, as we start kind of walking through the main elements of badges. So really what we wanted to do with badges on BOD is really add an element of fun to the business of getting results, right? And sometimes, it's hard work to really get those results. And it's about really finding a different way to celebrate accomplishments and achievements, and incentivizing engagement through virtual badges. So we're introducing badges on March 1st. Basically, as soon as we launch, we're gonna, make sure everybody knows through various points of communication, but also you'll know, once you update your app, you'll get this kind of pop-up modal letting you know, hey, introducing badges. So everybody is gonna get that initial notification that, oh, there's something new on BOD. So here are some of the badges that you're gonna be able to earn. We're focused on 3 milestone badges, first of all. So when you track Shakeology, you'll be able to earn milestones within Shakeology, within workouts. So any kind of BOD workout, custom workout, body workout, ride will count towards your total workouts milestones, and total rides as well. The 4th one is going to be program completion. So once you complete a program, you get a badge for completing that program. So again, 4 different types of badges. It's all based on your tracking activity, which I'll go over in a little bit. We're first starting off with about 26 programs that have badges associated with them, but we're going to be adding more programs as we go along. I'll show you kind of some samples of the program badges. So again, not everything you see on the screen is going to be available at launch. So it's going to kind of be in tiers, but we are launching with about 26 programs. They tend to be probably some of the most popular programs we have on there. So here's the list. So things like 21-day fix, real time, bar blend, MBF, 80-day obsession, morning meltdown 100, job 1, some of our newer programs as well. So those are some of the badges that we'll be launching with. But again, throughout the coming weeks, we'll be adding more and more badges as we go along. So this is kind of visually what they look like. All of the milestones are the same. Like you'll see what, for your first Shakeology or your first workout or your first ride, you have those badges. Then you have the 5 milestone, 10, 25, 50, etc., all the way to 5K. And you can see kind of visually, they get bolder in color as you go along as well. So again, just to kind of really add an element of fun, like this feeling of achievement. So they put a lot of work into kind of the creatives of the badges and what the colors mean, etc. So where can you see them? That's one thing that I definitely wanted to go over on your, and I'm actually going to exit the PowerPoint just a little bit. And I'm just going to show you right here on so on your website, where you have the little, where your avatar is supposed to be, so the icon with your image, if you hover over it, you'll see my dashboard. Once you click on my dashboard, the first thing you're going to see is that badges section. So everything you currently see on the my dashboard section will move down, and badges will be at the top. And when you click on view all in your badges, you'll be able to see all of the badges. So just wanted to kind of point that out. On the app, I'll also show you what it looks like on the app. So on the app, it's actually going to be, that avatar is, instead of the left side, is going to be on your right side. So again, you just click on it and it drops you right into badges. So once you're in your dashboard, here's what you'll see for badges. So this is on the app view. If you look at the bottom, anything unearned, all the unearned badges will be grayed out, but you'll still see them. So you'll see, hey, these are some badges I haven't unlocked yet. The badges that you've earned will be in full color, and you'll see those right there. And then at the very top, you'll see up next. For example, say you're at, 40, 45 total workouts, it'll show you that what's up next is your 50 total workouts milestone. So it'll show you basically what's next, what you've earned already, and anything unearned that you have not started working towards. You can see the badges on desktop, on app. You can also see it on the Beachbody bike. So it'll of course have that kind of darker feel to it. That's typical of the bike, but kind of some of the same premise. You'll see your total badges unearned and earned there. Now, when it comes to, let's go back to, okay. So when it comes to our, OTT devices, badges are not going to be displayed there. So on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, etc. But any workouts that you do there are still going to count toward your badges. So again, you'll be able to see them on your bike, on web, and on app. So I kind of showed you what it looks like when you click and go to your dashboard. So just keep in mind that little avatar is just on the opposite side when you're on your device in your app, but the premise is the same. So I've already mentioned to you, we're definitely going to have more badges as we go. So this is really phase one. We also are going to try to introduce new features, so new types of badges perhaps. So one thing that's currently, in discovery phase is, this kind of idea of streaks as well. So having kind of these streak badges. So there are a lot of other badge types. Also, of course, you know me as, like somebody who cares deeply about bod groups. So there'll be some bod groups badges as well that we're ideating. So definitely there's a lot that we want to do in the next upcoming phases, but at least we wanted, again, that foundational setup to be there. So I mentioned tracking before. So let's talk about how you earn badges. It's really based on your tracking activity. For Shakeology, it's manual. So if you don't track your Shakeology, we don't know about it. So you can't earn badges unless you're tracking that Shakeology. For your workouts, where you really need to auto track or be manually tracking that workout. So it has to be somewhere on that, on our tracking records. So one of the easiest ways, and what we're telling people to do, is to make sure your auto track your workouts is on, because that's the easiest way, because the system knows you did that workout, will log it, prompt you to share it to bod groups. So it's usually by default on, but it's a good idea to check and make sure that it's on. So that's for your workouts, for your rides, and for it counts for programs as well. And for programs, we're really looking at your view data. So we can see that you're viewing that you're viewing those videos on our end. And then the cool part about this is once you earn a badge right away, on whatever device you're on, when you do that last workout that qualifies you, or that last ride, whatever it may be, or you track that Shakeology, you'll get that celebratory modal on your device, and it'll say something like, congratulations, you've just earned this badge. And you're going to have this opportunity to, you can save the image, so you can do whatever you want with it, post it, on social networks. If you're on your device, you'll get that social share as well. So you can actually directly share onto Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. And then you can share to your bod groups. So it'll open up the module so you can share with your bod groups as well. So this is going to be really a fun element. And one thing we're encouraging people to do is really share those milestones, share those badges, share them in their bod groups, just so that they get you to be able to really celebrate with them, so that other group members can also kind of share in, and it just brings another element of something to recognize into your group. So definitely something that we encourage people doing. Also, one thing I wanted to point out, currently in the way we're launching for phase 1, as a coach, there's nowhere that you're going to be able to go to see, oh, here's, for example, here are all the members of my bod groups, and here's all the badges they earned. You'd have to kind of click on their social profile to see what badges they've earned. So there isn't a central place yet where you can see those badges for your team. And that's one of the reasons why we're encouraging people to share those, so you as a coach actually can see, who's earned and at what time, and really help in celebrating them at that moment. But again, it's something that we're working into a future phase. This is really important. So we're all starting fresh March 1st. So we all start earning at the same time, right when badges launch March 1st. So nothing that you've done prior to March 1st is going to count towards the badges. So we all have a clean slate. It's like we were in a competition, we're all like starting, on equal terms almost. So that's something I definitely wanted to point out. You start earning March 1st. And one thing I know Kim mentioned on the roundtable as well, like right when as soon as we launch, if you track a Shakeology right after we launch on March 1st, or you track your first workout or your first ride, you are going to get that initial badge. So there's going to be some action on March 1st. It's not that you're going to start earning and it's going to take forever until you see that first badge. So we do have that one milestone, and we're encouraging everybody, to make it fun on March 1st, is let's get everybody to earn their first badge on March 1st. And asking everybody, if you're sharing on social media as well, use the hashtag bod badges, sharing on the fun, so you as a coach can see everybody else's badges and what they're sharing. And we, here at Beachbody Corporate can also kind of join in on the fun and join in on the celebration. So March 1st is going to be kind of like a big kickoff for badges. Now talking about, how we're looking at badges to boost the business. And I mentioned some elements before. Number one, make it fun. Sometimes we kind of get lost in the business of getting results, and the way we just talk about results is not very sexy sometimes, right? Because it is hard work, right? So I think there's this element of fun that we can add with the badges. It's a way to really celebrate your accomplishments, but it's also a new way to celebrate success. Like we had, for example, when we first launched bod groups, where you can do your check and when you track an activity, you share it. This is kind of a new way. You've reached a milestone, you're sharing it with others, and others are joining in on that celebration. And really, we really want this to be integrated into the culture of your team. When we're talking about a new program launch, for example, being able to talk about that badge. Well, for example, 4 weeks for everybody is launching. You're going to earn a badge for that one. So being able to really incentivize through badges is also a big portion of it. And it's also, some short attainable goals. You've got some really doable milestones. It's not all super overwhelming. Like the first time you'll earn a badge is when you finish your 5,000 workout. There's some really snackable little milestones in between, right? So it gives you some opportunities to celebrate and engage with your community on a consistent basis. And one thing we want, like this is meant to really kind of generate that sticky factor. Like we want people to loiter on BOD. We want people to spend more time on the platform, and more time on the platform means they're streaming more, means they're interacting with you within BOD groups more, they're interacting with other team members. So there's kind of a slew of things that happen when, they're interested in what's going on the platform, and they're spending more time. So it's really helping them use the platform more regularly, checking where they're at in terms of accomplishments. So it's definitely something that we feel will go a long way in terms of improving engagement. And just bringing it part of the conversation, where are you in terms of milestones? What's next? And just encouraging people. There's also opportunities for creating little challenges, if you will, within some of your BOD groups, for example. Like, let's all, there's a new program coming out. Let's all work towards earning that badge. Or let's just do a challenge and get to the next milestone together. So there's an opportunity to do quite a bit with this within your team. And again, a huge focus is on sharing your badges to your group, sharing it on social media. You can download that badge, share it, anywhere you'd like. And just, giving you an opportunity to recognize them more. So the more, they're sharing with you, the more you know about this and the more you can raise them up. So we've talked about kind of, when there's a new fitness program launching, I think it's definitely going to be a big part of even how we communicate to you about that program. Like, here's the badge that you're going to earn. So we're going to start showing you what the badge looks like when a program launches. And of course, when we are talking about vital behaviors and being the proof, also, celebrating consistency, celebrating those badges on your team together. You also sharing your own badges and kind of, setting that expectation and being that role model. Encouraging to get the full trophy case, so to speak. So there's an opportunity to really kind of celebrate consistency on an ongoing basis, and just make earning badges part of the way you onboard new customers, right? Part of the way, and we feel that's going to go a long way in terms of improving retention. Adding that element of fun and adding that stickiness, we think is going to really help a lot. So we're going to have a robust FAQ. On the screen, you'll see the FAQs in 3 languages. It's 3321 for English. So that'll be live on March 1st. And it's going to go through all of this. It's going to go through details of how do I earn this badge. So you'll have all of the details that is there, and it'll be a living document. If we find, there are questions that are coming up that are not addressed there, we'll continue to add them. But again, this is phase 1. And we're really super excited about it. There's more work ahead, but we want to kind of do like a pencils down, see what y'all think, and proceed together from there. Are there any questions?
Hala, there are some questions in the chat. Awesome. I'm just gonna, so you don't have to go through them, I'll just ask you. Great. So the first one, and I know this is phase 1. I don't know of how many phases, but with that being, do you know how many phases are there, Hala?
So really, like it hasn't been delineated. There's going to be quite a bit. We're looking at this kind of like BOD groups where there's a roadmap each year. And what are some of the features that we're going to put each year into the roadmap? So it's something that is going to be kind of an ongoing project where we're going to continuously evolve it.
Sure. And that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, especially based on all of your feedback as we continue to iterate this platform. Exactly. So the first question, there was a couple that were in the chat, is, will there be any sort of incentives attached to the badges for example, I know that I shouldn't, but I've got the Peloton app, right? And they do things once you hit a certain threshold, right? You get a t-shirt, you get some swag. Will we have anything like that, at least in this first round, if not in the foreseeable future?
We will not have it in the first round, but it's something we've been discussing, and we love that part of it. So getting something physical in addition to the virtual badge is definitely something that's on the horizon, but there's a little bit more complexity to it. So some of these have been tabled for future phases, but definitely on the radar.
Okay, great. Whit, do you want to explain? You want to just ask her real quick?
Sure. We don't auto track our workouts because my husband and I use the same account, but then we just log into our groups with our own names. So I know my people will ask this, what do we need in the title as we track our workout manually in order to earn a badge?
So what if you manually track, like you're fine, you've tracked it. So it isn't that you have to do anything extra in particular. It just needs to be recorded. It needs to be logged. So that's the important thing there. So there's nothing special that you have to do in terms of how you word it, because you're going to be selecting in the tracking if it's a workout, if it's a Shakeology. So the system is going to know.
Okay, great. Okay. Is there going to be a way for us coming to log straight from the bike to bod groups?
Yeah, I didn't know if this had already been asked, but I just feel like it's so nice. You finish your workout, it pulls up the screen that shows how you did and the calories you burned, all that with your heart rate monitor, and you're already right on there with all the programs and everything else. It would be super nice if we could have the option to be able to access our bod group on there and just log straight from that. Because now I finish my workout on the bike and then I'm seeing it there and then going to a different device to then be able to go log it. And it would be really cool if we could have the option to just log straight from the bike. I don't know if that's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that will make it so much easier and more streamlined. It's currently, not how it's currently set up. And I know it's part of something that we want to do in the future, but honestly, I don't know the timing on that. I'll double check with the team, but I know it's something they've been discussing. So I don't know where it lands in the priority of features coming. But so far, yeah, unfortunately, you kind of have to log in somewhere else and actually, track it and log it. So I know it's inconvenient and I apologize, but we're working on it.
Okay. So listen, we have there's 21 that are on the call. If you have a specific question, ask it. You don't have to go in the chat, just unmute yourself and ask whatever questions that you may have. If you guys don't have any, I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if you covered this because I was in my bod groups talking as well, but is there a way for coaches to track how their clients are earning badges so that we can do recognition?
Yeah, so unfortunately, this is the missing component, kind of having a central place where you go and you see, here's my team and here are all the badges that they've earned. You can only do it kind of on an individual basis now. When you click, for example, in your bod group, if you click on a person's name and you get their social profile, the badges they've earned will be there. So that's why for this initial phase, we're encouraging people to share their achievements in groups so that you know about it. So you're not actually going one by one to see a person's social profile and, hey, what have they earned so far? But we know there's got to be an easier way. So we're working on having kind of a central place for you to see your team and what badges they've earned. But for now, it's one by one that you'd have to check. Or if you've encouraged them to share, then every day you'll see what's in the feed in terms of what they've shared.
Okay.
I have one.
Wow.
Great.
So my thought process behind this is ideally Beachbody would provide a way for us to purchase stickers to go on shaker cups using the badges. I know a lot of my Enneagram 3, my people love decorated shaker cups. So I feel like that would be a great way to, get as a coach, gift them your badge put on your shaker cup, show the group, things like that. I assume that that's probably not part of what would come in the first wave, but is there any copyright issues of us making those stickers on our own and gifting those? Or I just want to make sure before I kind of run with that.
Good question, Rachel. I actually don't know. Can I get back to you? Let me double check with the team. That's a good point. I don't know that we've, at least I haven't had any conversation about actual stickers that are going to be made. They are working on Giphies for some of these, so you'll have Giphies, but everything is has been done in the digital world. So let me see, since we're not doing this, if there's any issue with you all doing it. I'll double check with our internal teams.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would love to hear that too, just because I know something that I've already been planning is to kind of run like a challenge with it. I have a lot of athletes on my team, so they're super competitive and in my groups, and setting up like an Excel sheet with, everybody teams up, explain the challenge, kickoff call type of thing. They pair up on teams, they come up with a team name, and they put their name on an Excel sheet and they're tracking. And then I want to do like prizes. So maybe, once they hit 25 badges, or once they log 100, then I'm going to send them a t-shirt that says 100 on it with like their little team name or something. But I think just having those incentives and kind of doing a challenge with it will be super fun. So I'd love to know if we're able to utilize without copyright issues, for sure.
And I actually love those ideas. I think like this is kind of the perfect way we want it to be used. You create challenges, you reward. So I'll definitely talk to the internal teams. I don't think there should be an issue, but let me double check first before I give you the green light.
So good. Like that's really, really good. I mean, talking about creating that energy and excitement within your body. I mean, so good. Yeah. Especially if we're not going to do it in this first couple of phase, it's like, what can you do? And that would be, that's brilliant. So
and the way I imagined it was like a lot of you kind of doing your own creative little challenges and, leaderboards or whatever it may be. And I think, this just kind of adds the final oomph. So I love that. And I can't wait till we kind of take this to bod groups to where you have some, community focused badges, like I think you've seen those, on other social networks, like people that are, conversation starters or whatever it may be. So I can't wait till we have like, some variety also in those badges, but I think this is a really great start and you could do so much with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So knowing what Hala has shared thus far, right? How can you take this back to your teams and start to maybe kind of formulate a plan, knowing that it's going to be launching in literally less than 10 days? And I know this is a lot. You're really like, I have no idea, but I mean, Cassidy and you and Rachel, those ideas are great. Anything else? I mean, or anything that we can, I'm asking two questions, right? The first part is knowing now that what Hala has shared with you, how can you leverage this with your team? Let's start there. How can you leverage this with your team? Let's start there.
I was just going to ask one more like quick question kind of regarding that though. And I might've missed it in the beginning because I was late, but is there going to be a way for us to see what our coaches are doing with this? Like, is there going to be a way for us to be able to recognize them saying like, shouting out, this coach has had this many people get badges or something along those lines?
So again, in terms of accessing that info, it's going to be tedious in the beginning. So for whether they're your coaches or your customers, there's not a central place where you can see what they've done. You'd have to go to their social profile. So you'd have to go to their account. So I know it's not ideal at the beginning, but we're working on making it easier for you to have access to who's done what. So unfortunately, it's going to be a little cumbersome at the beginning. But it's something that's really high priority for an upcoming feature release. So I'll definitely keep you posted when it comes to that.
I actually think it makes it easier to track, like, especially what our challengers are doing in our bod groups, because normally it is tedious and I have to go through and count how many workouts they did that week if I'm going to recognize someone. But I love April's idea of like, did you get a badge this week? Like, I think that is probably the shift that I'll start making when you ask like, hey, what are you going to do with your people? Maybe I don't know about my coaches yet, but I guess I'm answering from like the bod group side of like, it would be cool every Friday or Saturday to be like, who earned a badge, like drop it in this. And like we were saying, give little incentives. I love the idea of like a shaker, like a little sticker, and have someone fill a shaker bottle with all their stickers. Like, that's so genius.
Yeah.
So I do think there's like a lot of fun in it. I'm not overly competitive and stuff like this, but I do, you guys know me, but I do like the idea of getting stuff. And so I think, oh, that's so fun. Like, if I knew that when I hit this, my coach was going to send me a gift, that would make me post my badge. So I think there's a lot of creativity here.
Yeah, I love those ideas too. And I do like that, you know, that post as well, like having kind of almost like a check-in post, like who's earned this week, you know, share. Do you guys do that for normal, like tracked activity? Because I know sometimes it might be overwhelming with all the tracking activity that gets shared in bod groups. Do you just let them share and you recognize individually? Or do you kind of prompt them with a post? Either way, we're gonna work on streamlining that process, and it's gonna be kind of just so we can surface more conversations in your feed, and we can surface those posts that you're talking about, like, hey, who's earned, so it doesn't get lost in all the tracking activity. So we're working on fixing those feed issues.
Yeah, it looks like it's a combination. If you look in the chat, Hala, both at times. Mine is one big leaderboard usually. I have a check-in, but sometimes just do it, you know.
Got it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions for Hala while we have her?
Oh, I did think of one more.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get is Beachbody giving us like a visual to be able to show our teams, hey, here's all the badges? Like what you just shared with us, are we gonna get almost like a copy of that picture?
So we're actually going to share this entire presentation in the coach office. So we're going to add it to the training library. So we'll kind of give you the direct link as soon as it's up, but we'll include that in our announcement once it launches, that you can get that access to that deck here. So you'll have all the visuals. You know, we may add a little bit more to it, but just like the FAQs, we'll continue adding to it, and then we'll add more visuals as well.
Yeah, no, Hala, speaking of, because this is happening so fast and furious, what's the comms plan on this?
So yeah, that's a really good question. So really we're covering all our touch points. As soon as we launch on March 1st, there'll be a coach breaking news about it. We'll also announce in the Facebook communities as well. So you all know it's coming. The next day, there's going to be an email going out to all bod subscribers announcing it. So, you know, all of our communication is leading them back to the badges page, because this is new, like, where do I find badges? So we're linking everybody so they can kind of go in and see. So on social media, there'll be posts announcing it. We've created some really cool assets that really kind of visualize and show what's coming, so people kind of really get excited about it. The coach dev team is obviously gonna make sure they announce in any chat pods they've got, but definitely covering social media, covering emails, some of the typical coach comms. It's going to be in the coach newsletters, as well as the customer newsletter that goes out mid-March. So definitely trying to cover all of the touch points, because we know this is going to be, really big in terms of, increasing engagement and increasing activity for the team. So definitely trying to look at, all touch points. We know the ambassadors are going to be talking about, so all our super trainers are going to be talking about it as well. So they're excited about their own program badges too. So they're all, going to be announcing it as well. So it's definitely going to be covered, and everybody's going to get, even if they're not in tune with all communications, they're bound to see one of the communications we send out, right? So, and it's something that we're going to consistently be talking about. So it's not a launch and be done kind of thing. We think badges is going to be so much a part of our culture that from a social perspective, we're constantly going to be talking about it. From a communications perspective, from, in our newsletters, it's a feature that I feel is going to be something we continue to talk about.
Okay, great. One other question Rachel just posted in the chat. Will there be a downloadable image for them like they had with the 2B certification that they can put on an image?
Yes, so if we were recognizing Challenger of the Week that earned XYZ badge, we could download the badge and put it on their picture to shout out. So when you earn, you can download an image of that badge. So unless you've earned it, you don't have access to downloading that image of the badge. But in terms of coaches having all images available, but I don't know if it's something we've explored. I'll also discuss with the internal team. I think they haven't kind of really provided that information because they felt, hey, it's like a system. The system generates it when you earn it and you get that image. But I get your need is more for recognition. So I'll also talk to the internal team about, can there be kind of a central place where, coaches have access to all of the images. So when somebody earns it and they recognize them, they can include that image. So a really good point.
Yeah. Rachel,
well, and that would be also what that was my cheat for what I would use to print the stickers. So that was the thought process behind it, instead of having to make, figure out a way to copy it.
Got it. Yeah, I'll definitely talk to the team about it. Those are all really good questions.
Yeah. So based on what Hala has shared thus far, any initial thoughts that you have how to make improvements moving forward to future iterations, just based on what she shared with you?
How about, just to start it off, how about if you were to set your own goals, is that something that's interesting to you? I want to work out, 5 times a week, say, and you kind of have a streak milestone. Do you get that streak? Do you break the streak? Is that something that's interesting?
Would that be important for you?
Yeah.
Yes. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Cool.
I think anytime that you can measure success beyond one way, some people, even if they might not complete a program, they still got measured towards the 50 workouts in a row badge. And I think anytime you can celebrate that is a good thing.
Cool.
Yeah. Hala, it looks like yes, for sure, just based on the chat.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
And then Jatana, you had mentioned, she had asked, will this integrate with the Apple Watch? Do you foresee that ever happening?
I know there's been some discussion about it. It's so I'll see if there's any timeline attached to that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I know a lot of my girls on the Apple Watch, they like to compete with each other as well. Yeah. And they create competitions, and that would be really a neat thing to be able to do within bod groups, if people could have little paired up competitions or even team competitions.
Definitely.
Speaking of the Apple Watch, would there ever be reminders that would be sent out as you're on your way to completing that badge? You know how sometimes if you're on your way to your move goal or to your stand goal, that would be helpful, because I think for me personally, I forget to track things sometimes. I know that girls in my group do too. So if there was some sort of reminder, that way you don't get to 45 workouts and then you end the streak,
Yeah. I love that. And that's actually something that we're in active discussions about. So having kind of contextual notifications sent to you, hey, you've already done this many workouts, way to go, keep it going. You're this close to earning the next milestone or so. So definitely really good one. And we're working very actively on that one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Haley, that's good. For us, those type A personalities. Okay. I
know,
need to
right?
close the ring. Let's close the ring today.
Yes.
Oh.
I
Hala,
love
do
it.
you have any other questions or feedback? Anything that you want to know while you've got all these ladies on the call right now?
And this has been very helpful, honestly. Like some of your questions, like have triggered me to go back to the team and see, what's in place, for the next phase when it comes to this. So it's definitely very helpful. I just would love, I know it's hard to talk about it before it launches. So I know once you kind of go in and get a feel for it, would love your feedback. If there's something that's kind of a pain point or something like, man, I wish they did this. Those are all things like, if you can let Wendy or other members of the team know and filter to us, this is such helpful feedback. Because just like with bod groups, we kind of rely very much on you kind of getting in the weeds and breaking stuff, right? Like we sometimes welcome the breaking stuff. Like, yeah, that's a good point. So anything that you want to see in the future, anything that would make it better, we'd love to kind of hear as it launches and get that information filtered to the right teams.
Awesome. Okay, no other questions? No. Okay. Hala, thank you, girlfriend. Thank you so much for being on this call.
My pleasure.
And for all of you, just for joining, so you can see the future enhancements of what's coming with gamification. And we will continue to iterate this, but I'm excited for this. I think this is going to be a huge recognition, retention, a way for us to just really inspire and motivate those in the bod groups, on our teams, etc. So all of you, listen, this presentation, again, it'll be posted in the Coach Online office. I don't know when, but it will be. And if you've got any specific questions as we go through this, as this launches, reach out to me. And then I can forward those questions to Hala, and she is very good at getting back. So without further ado, thank you so much for being on the call, everyone. I will send the recording out. Next week, we will have Ashley Smith on the call, and her topic is going to be all centered around how she teaches her team to work in pockets of time. So without further ado, have an amazing week, everyone. I will see all of your beautiful faces next week.
Thank you all.
Thank you.